A packed slate of games with statement wins, injuries, and mess. We have it all here to break down on No Cap Space. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to No Cap Space. It is Tyler here, and good God, do we have a lot to talk about. So not only am I doing this the night of instead of the day after, I had to bring in reinforcements. I needed the reinforcements for this one, and who better? Hello, Shawnee. Oh God. Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
We're gonna get through. There was 4 games tonight. I likely know why you are here. And I likely know, there was.
I was here for everything.
No, I'm saying I was talking to the viewer at home.
Yeah.
I likely know. Yeah, sorry, breaking the fourth wall. Look, we're gonna get through these 3 games, and then we're gonna talk about the Fever and the Mercury and the fallout of that and everything. But first, make sure you're subscribed here on the No Cap Space YouTube, because anytime something like this happens, or any game period, because ultimately here at No Cap Space, we are ball first. We are what happens on the court first, and then we get to the mess. We get there. Don't get me wrong. We get there. But we get to the ball first. That's what we're doing here today. That's what we do here every day on No Cap Space. So make sure you're tapped in with us across the board. Shawnee, let's dive right into what was the cap of the night, and ended up being good God, a game.
A game. a game.
A game of all time. Golden State wins 77-66 in this one. Golden State largely just absolutely shut down the Atlanta Dream over the course of this game. And then the Golden State, we got the entire spectrum of the Valkyries, where we saw the first half where it's the threes are falling. Gabby Williams looks like a 1A scorer. The defense is there. There's nothing really you could ask for in addition to. And then you get the fourth quarter where they go 5+ minutes without being able to score a bucket. And Atlanta goes on a run of their own. And it looked like it could get shaky a little bit there. Ultimately, Golden State cushion was enough in this game, Shawnee. But in what was a frankly pretty ugly game in a lot of ways, especially for the Atlanta Dream in this one, a team that you've been able to see several times in person now over the course of this season. Your takeaways from this Golden State win over Atlanta?
Nothing. Golden State, and stop me if you've heard this before. Golden State is a bad matchup for them. They played each other 36 times in July last year. And it was kind of like this, where some games they Golden State's up double digits. Some games it just got weird. They're a real weird matchup. They've got some quirks in different positions that throws a wrench in Atlanta's plans. Tonight, you see Letitia and me here come in, and the stats don't even really reflect everything that she did out there, because she was everywhere, and it really feels like she was doing a ton.
A lot.
I was like, she might be in the MVP race. I don't know. She done came in. And then I looked at the box score and I was like, she still might be in the MVP race. I don't know. Most improved, 6 women. We could still get her in a conversation here or there. But yeah, no, she comes in. She's, bodying, going body to body with Medina Okot and with Angel Reese, and, getting blocks, getting steals, getting buckets. She was an energizing force. And it's that's a weird kind of tween position player that the Dream, they struggled with tonight. And I didn't know Kayla Thornton was that lethal from 3.
Come on now. Yeah.
I was like, that to me was the difference in the game. She got magnet ball early, and I was just like,
yeah, a lot of the Valkyries had the magnet on.
Yeah. And that to me, the game was won with magnet ball in the first half, and then Atlanta just kind of petered out. Okay, they got their points, because 40 points in the 45 in the third quarter. I was like, hey.
Yeah, you can see up here the quarter by quarter breakdown. 18 points in the first quarter, 9 points in the second quarter, 13 points in the third quarter. They end up really winning the fourth quarter when Golden State went on that massive drought that they are just it seems like it's like government mandated every game to have at least one drought, and this one was a brutal drought in this. But yeah, ultimately, like you saw the ceiling and the floor for Golden State in this one. I'm not taking too much away from Atlanta in this. Like this is Golden State's defense is really good, and when they're hitting from three, like it's tough to do. I think the big thing is now figuring out Alicia Gray and her health and what that looks like going forward for the Dream, because that obviously is a very, very important piece to this team is Alicia Gray. So in the meantime, if there is time missed, you obviously we look into a player like Ryan Howard. I do want to ask you though. I will the one bright spot, and it's becoming more of a common thing, is Medina Okot for the Atlanta Dream, Shawnee. So like even. Every game you look now, I feel like there's a Gamecock performing. You saw it on one side with the me here, you got it on the other side with Okot. What have you seen? I know you had a piece written on it on No Cap Space WBB.com earlier this season about playing Medina with Angel or like figuring out the minutes and what the rotations looked like early on in the season. You're now really starting to see her pick up her stride the last couple of games. What has been the main takeaway for you when it comes to Okot and her performance growing?
She's figuring it out, and a lot of us thought like, oh, we just needed one more year with her at USC to really like unlock, and it's like, no, she'll just learn on the job. And it's like, hey, who among us has not learned on the job? So I feel that, but like Smesco really, really believes in her, and I think that helps. You can tell like the team really believes in her, and again, that helps because when your confidence is up, even if you're still trying to figure it out, you're taking chances, you're doing things, you feel good enough to at least try. You know what I'm saying? So there's no hesitancy, there's no passiveness, there's none of that. Like she's aggressive and it's paying dividends. And I think, Carl Smesco has said he believes that she can be one of the best bigs like down the road. And I'm like, this is how I win. Post player we got another one. Yeah. And tonight, they needed that energy because people didn't have it. And I'm not making excuses, but I think it is like a valid observation that they played in Atlanta on Monday, then travel cross country. And now they're playing Wednesday night. So it's like, we'll see how they adjust and adapt and get back on track if they can get back on track Friday. But this one, it's like it's not a wash, but it's just like I kind of get it given the circumstances and given the travel, because that's not really easy to do. So I'm not too Friday will tell me. Friday will tell me a little more of what I need to see.
Yeah, this is obviously a team that, for me at least, has certainly teetered on where I place them in terms of my trust in the playoffs. It's certainly been something that's on a major incline recently. And to me, this game, again, to your point, like it's not one where in the vacuum, the tunnel vision of this game, it happens sometimes, like not every night is going to be it. But if what we saw tonight becomes a bit more of a trend where like you have duds like this, to me, this is more of a, we know what Atlanta struggles with sometimes in the half court, but we also know what Golden State's really good at. And for a majority of this game, you got Golden State doing their best at what they're good at, and that's defense and hitting threes. That's life, I think, with the Golden State Valkyries whenever they're on like that, really, for any team. And I don't think that's an Atlanta Dream specific thing as much as it is when Golden State's working and it's working like it was tonight in the first half. Not many teams are going to be able to do much against that, frankly.
I think with the Dream, I still just need to see them against the Aces. Like, I'm not going to say none of these games matter, but it's just like, I saw this last year. They can play up to the level of people. They can play down to the level of people. They can play in the middle and do whatever. So it's like, the Aces are still the true test to me right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the last point I have on this one is my kind of mark I've been looking for when it comes to the Valkyries is both Gabby Williams and Veronica Burton getting around like 16 to 18 points plus. And like, if you get that, you're going to be feeling good. It was a different night of scoring in terms of like who was able to contribute to that, but notably only 8 points for Veronica Burton. When you have those lulls, right? I want that player that can go get to the rim or whatever that looks like. If Veronica Burton has been able to be that at times, wasn't able to do so in the fourth quarter in the way that you would want her to, I'd say. And that's something I continue to monitor, but ultimately, the performance in the first half on both sides of the ball was more than enough for Golden State to get the win in this.
Is that something Because like that don't even sound like something like. If you ask me, like, yeah, what would you assign each role on the Valkyries? 18,
I think she's
20
capable of doing. Maybe like
I mean,
I said, it's
not like she can't do it, but like
yeah. To me, it's a thing where
consistently, like counting on that.
I think to a degree, maybe not. Maybe 18 is too high, but like that's like I feel like if when I say I have that mark in my head, it's like if they both get that, you're feeling great about the chances of winning.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that's in sense of like if you're not gonna have like your true 1A score in that manner, like if you are able to kind of compile this between Gabby and Burton, like that's kind of like 16 to 20 is like kind of the range I'm looking at for those two together. And then you add in your Thorntons, your Salon off the bench, like those type of players. That's more what I'm getting at as opposed to
because I'm kind of like 16, 18 for her, or 16, 20. Like that's her playing out of her body. So like,
that's like out of her body. Yeah, I think it's more possible than not, but it is certainly like an upgrade to where she is currently to be able to get that out of
every night.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what the Valkyries are missing right now. Like that's kind of
and that's what I'm saying.
That's the general issue, you know. Like
I better go get.
That's the perfect world, right? That's what I'm getting. At. That's what I'm getting at. Is like that's like the perfect world for this in this current iteration of the Valkyries to raise their ceiling at all, to be able to consistently beat these type of teams. That's what you're looking for in my eyes.
It's time to tank.
Okay, well, one team that should be doing that, but oh wait, they don't own their first round pick. The Chicago Sky. Hey, shout out to the Chicago Sky. Good win.
They're the only team in the league a win feels like a loss because, like, who cares?
Look at all these double-digit scores after what was a total dud from this team against the Connecticut Sun, and you'll be seeing Under Surveillance drop later today when you're watching this. Well, yeah, it is past midnight. You know what? Later today when you're seeing this, we talked about the Chicago Sky. They are under surveillance, according to Shawnee. So we recorded that earlier today. So this is a bit of a bounce back from what you'll see there. But is there? I'll ask you this from this game: is there any chance, given that the Sparks lose Kelsey Plum for a large period of time, Portland is going to be a team in that race. Toronto is injured right now. Washington is looking better. We'll talk about their game against the Lynx, but they're still young. Is there a pathway for the Chicago Sky to potentially make a push for the 8th seed over the next month or so?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Courtney Vandersloot comes back. Like, anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, she might carry him to the title game. Who's to say? You know? Okay, let me see. Washington is out having fun, but, like, they're still kind of winning. Toronto is trying. If they get Sykes back, that's...
Yeah, same with Kiki Rice.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay, so ahead of Chicago is Phoenix, Portland, Toronto, Washington. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's also just like you gotta count on everyone else thinking. And I'm fairly certain like Washington through Connecticut plays each other some more this season. So it's like you're gonna have a couple more mid-offs. You know what I'm saying? So is everybody going to lose their mid-off? And if they do, then somebody's got to win it. So who gets the seed? So do I think Chicago can win the mid-off? Yeah. Yeah. Ew, this is disgusting. 5-12, and we're seeing if they can get to the 8-8 mark.
Yeah.
It's possible. Let's see who they got next couple games. They got the Fire again. Then we head into July, and they got the Aces. No, Mercury. It depends. If the Mercury bring fever energy, who's to say? But if that's their Super Bowl, maybe a win. Sparks, okay. Wings, no. Storm, yeah, it should be. Sparks again. Dream, Dream. They're getting blessed. The 19th, Liberty, and then the Sun again to end July. Okay, how many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 1L, 2L, 3L, 4L at least. And then out of the 5 remaining, I'm going to say they might mess around and lose 2. So they could go
Oh, God.
The 2-7 in July.
The answer increasingly feels like no, but
yeah,
like
they're getting into that like the meat of their schedule. They start playing the top teams. So July could get shaky, and then they could still mess around and lose to the Storm, or just like I don't trust this team right now. Like you might do something dumb like that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
What I will say,
go ahead
tonight.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
My daughter, Aisha Coulibaly.
Hey, there you go.
15 minutes, 10 points, 3 rebounds, and assists. Turn me up. Turn me up. My household, and a block. Timeout. And a block. Timeout.
The two-way impact.
I changed my position. If they give her the keys, sky roll into the playoff. Aisha Coulibaly. Give Coulibaly the keys.
Her and Sydney Taylor taking them to the playoffs.
Let's go.
Again, speaking of the team that they are currently trying to catch in that 8th seed, the Washington Mystics, who lose to the Lynx in what was a game where they just they spilt the chili in the 4th quarter. They spilt the chili, and notably because Olivia Miles arrived in the 4th quarter, and what was a game where she was largely struggling in it. It was not perfect. It was not perfect in the 4th quarter at all. She had a couple of like Maureen Johannes type threes where she's like fading away and stuff like that. There was some moments in this where it's like the free throws or threes, like it was not perfect by any means. And yet Olivia Miles still helped this team do enough, alongside Kelly McBride and Natasha Howard, notably tonight, still helped this team do enough to win. And that just seems to kind of be what the Minnesota Lynx do. Even without Fee, even without Dorka, they just keep figuring out ways to win games, even when it feels like they simply shouldn't. From a Minnesota perspective in this, Shawnee, what's the takeaway?
And I think that's kind of by design. Like I like how Cheryl Reeve seems to be letting her figure it out and letting her kind of do her. And if anybody can reel somebody in, it's Cheryl. It's Cheryl Reeve, so I don't think she'll ever really get too out of control. But like, let her play young and free. That's gotten you this far. To still come away in a game where you weren't off to a good start at all. Stinking it up, really, actually. If we're getting to the nitty-gritty, putrid. No. But to end with 21, it's the same thing I'd be saying about Caitlin. If your bad game is still 20 points, watch out. So, Miles, I think she's got the goods. So she'll keep figuring it out. I'm still in favor of her, so good for her.
Good. I'm glad she has your favor.
No, I'm saying like it was no. I'm saying like it was getting a little. People were like, "See, she and like, nah, she's got it. She's got it. She's gonna have some lows. Everybody does. Rookies to the wire hangers. But she's still, she's still all right.
Yeah,
she's still all right.
Yeah. All right, in this game, you saw her dueling with Sonia Citron. Could you imagine if those two played together on a team? They probably won a lot of championships.
In college against other kids, like they
must have been crazy. Damn. Damn.
Well, guess we'll never know.
Never know. This was a game where Sonia was just ridiculous in this. I mean, 9 of 14, 4 of 5 from 3, 28 points, like just pretty unconscious, frankly. And this just felt like a game where, when they lost control of it in the 4th quarter, Washington couldn't really. Again, they spilled the chili. Like once it was going, like it was hard for them to really regain control of this. And to me, whenever I see losses like that just comes down to maturity, right? And like just needing to live through these experiences. And also, again, Minnesota is a ridiculously good team, and Washington, to me, did. I mean, you pretty much attacked this game the way you would want to, in the sense of Sony's hitting from range, so your space on the floor. Well, Kiki and Shakira both end up with double doubles in this. You're attacking the paint where they don't have a ton of size down there to really defend you, especially in comparison to having Kiki and Shakira both on the court. Most teams don't have size to guard both of them at the same time. It wasn't the highest scoring game from either of them, but ultimately, again, this is just a game that I think they lost a little bit of control on, and that happens when not only are you like a young team, but you don't really have a point guard to settle you down when that does happen either, and certainly a veteran point guard at that. So that to me is another example of that kind of coming to bite them in this game in this fourth quarter. But ultimately, I'm still just so impressed with where Sonia Citron, especially in this game, to highlight her, is currently. She's remarkable, and her and Kiki both are just. I made this point, and I'll ask you this, Shawnee. Not to the same standard, right? Because like, this is an Aces question, by the way. This is an Aces comparison.
Okay. Does
Kiki and Sony give you Jackie and Asia in the sense of like thinking about where the build can go? And I'm not, again, you're talking about the greatest of all time, so like the standard isn't going to be the exact same, but like is there a similar vision that you can see with that comparison?
No.
What?
I'm sorry.
You don't
Apologies.
see
Who's Asia in this story?
Kiki?
Asia? No.
Kiki's playing at an all W level right now.
Kiki's playing well. Kiki, yes, but like I'm sorry. Like when you say Asia, I
understand.
Was there for Asia's like rookie year, so I'm like, and then I know like Jackie had to come along. Mm-hmm. It took her a couple years because I ain't going front. I was on the like, should we trade Jackie train? Like way back when. It was ultimately Bill Laimbeer. You got to blame the man. Like he was not he was not getting it done. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to wrap my head around like the situations to even like get to the comparisons, and I'm trying to think of it. There's a duo there. It's just I don't think it's Asia and Jackie.
I'm trying to think who that would be if there was to be a comp. If not them,
Leah Boston and Caitlin Clark. I don't know. Like,
no, it's not. No, like, no, that is not. No, Sony and Caitlin are not. No, those are not.
I don't know, but I maybe if I'll come back and apologize later after I sleep on it and think on it, because immediately my goat.
Again, the standard of that is incredibly high. So like
because I'm kind of like Asia was like a game out of the playoffs her rookie year, and it was only because like the Skylar Diggins, Liz Cambage wings like crawled to the finish line and was able to squeak in over them. So that's where I'm kind of like, okay, they're getting there. They're good. I like them. I like that duo. I think it's going to be a great duo in the future, especially when EDD comes back out of retirement and decides like she's so needed. Like I believe in them, but just right now, like I'm not really seeing that comp. No.
Got you. Okay, let's do it, Shawnee. Let's.
What?
Everyone. Okay. The Phoenix Mercury beat the Indiana Fever 111-109.
Really?
And a couple of things happened in this game. We're going to break it down
because I don't remember.
You know what I like? We're going to get to all the Caitlin stuff. Trust. But can I just say, before we dive into that this Fever defense got absolutely smoked in this game. And like all the discourse is going to be about Caitlin Clark's, her back, the moment with Alyssa Thomas. And again, we're going to get to all that. But like, technically speaking, wouldn't you anticipate, right? Just hypothetically speaking, if Caitlin Clark wasn't on the court, that the defense would get better? Like given like all the discourse surrounding Caitlin Clark's defense over the course of the season, they gave up 111 to the Phoenix Mercury. And there was a lot of like, I mean, Kyle got to the line a lot. Alyssa Thomas like couldn't miss. I mean, she was just doing her Alyssa Thomas thing largely. DeWanna Bonner had a more productive night. Ayahi off the bench as well with 19. Like this defense is really bad, and I think that's going to get lost in all of this. But like before we delve in, I want to always hit the on court stuff first. The defense in this was awful for Indiana.
It's always awful.
Well, yes.
Like, but to your point, like I've been told for the better part of 9 months, like the Indiana Fever are better without Caitlin Clark. Why didn't they win?
Yeah.
Why didn't they get the win? They had a full quarter and a half without Caitlin Clark. They had the lead when she left. Why didn't they win? Okay, so we can kind of chill out. But to your point, we don't really see. Aaliyah hasn't been the rim protector that she's been in the past, but she's also having to guard stretch, she's also having to guard and come out, and so she can't stay in the paint. So we need a rim protector to go along with her. Timpson's still 12, so she's getting her legs under her. Kelsey Mitchell is 3 apples tall, and it comes across every time. They just back her down and start shooting over her, or they'll just run into her, and she's shrinking every time. So she'll start the game at 5'6", and then by the fourth quarter we're at 5'1", and it gets weird. But she's never really been a lockdown all-world defender, despite what people try and say. Leches. The Leches are supposed to be 3-and-D, and I ain't seeing no. I ain't
3 nor D. Largely.
Ain't no 2D, ain't no 1D.
Not One Direction.
Not
Two Dimension.
I'm so sick. We gotta ban Leches, dog. I'm sick. I'm sick of them. You have a job. One job. One. You got the best friend tax. Okay? Do your job. Do your job. You're supposed to be making your girl's job easier, and you are not. She on an island because you're not doing your job. How is she getting switched on to the guard and the best scorer and the best player every game and getting exposed like that? That's your job to absorb that and not let that happen. Why are you letting that happen? She got to charge a better best friend tax, man. Because the Leche is not.
Including the end of the game where Lexi Hull gets the rebound. There's a reset timeout available, and she just launches a 90-mile-per-hour fastball right at Raven Johnson, and Raven bobbles it. It gets hit around, kicked around, whatever, and time runs out. And Stephanie White is not able to get the reset timeout off. They had, I want to say 4 seconds on the clock when Lexi had the ball in her hands, and
Lexi turned into Kelsey Plum during a t-shirt toss. She just
launched it.
Lexi Hull started playing dodgeball in the final possession, and the ball just goes down the court. Bro, you went to Stanford, and you ain't know you didn't know the situation. Nobody knew the situation to just get the ball, hold it, so you could call the timeout and set up for a shot. Nobody knew that. Because whose job is it to tell people that?
And notably,
whose job?
This comes off a free throw as well, so it's a dead ball situation where it's a missed free throw. So you would like to think that if there was a time where you can't call a timeout and you would like to communicate onto the court, a free throw would probably be the best time to do so.
Because at the end of the game, there was, when was that? When Brianne January was leading the huddle. Because I don't know what Stephanie White was doing, but it wasn't leading the huddle. So I'm just kind of why didn't anybody tell them the situation? Why didn't what was the plan, man?
There wasn't one. That's ultimately the problem.
You got players that should know better. You got coaches that should tell them in case they don't know better. And you got Raven Johnson getting pelted with a snowball.
And it was a great, notably, another great Raven game, I might add. Only 2 points, but 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. I'm telling you, I feel better about my draft day take by the game. I'm gonna be honest. It's not to say that this roster is perfect by any means.
Yeah, I mean, and I said Okada over Raven, so I wouldn't have been wrong. But you did.
I do feel better about it. Ultimately, a great Kelsey Mitchell offensive game. A really solid, I could bounce back, notably offensive game from Aaliyah Boston. Not enough. You score 109 and you let the Phoenix Mercury outscore you and score 111. Let's
And you throw an 88-mile-per-hour changeup on the final possession, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
not great. Not great. Okay, Shawnee, let's pivot. Let's get into it. Caitlin Clark goes down with there's two separate moments, and I'll show them both. You have a landing space foul that does not get called, that should have been called in my eyes. That she comes up holding her back, which obviously that was the big thing early on in the season with the injury designation, where there was, this injury plan, but not an injury plan, and it was a whole mess. And the worry became, what happens if this flares up again? What is the likelihood of that? So on and so forth. So we have that, and then we have the moment with Alyssa Thomas where her fist essentially ends up around Caitlin's neck, and like pressing down on it when they go for a loose ball. I'll play both of those first, and then we will get to Stephanie White's comments after the game. So here's the landing space foul, and to be honest, I'm actually more annoyed, if I'm a Fever fan, at the lack of calls that have been given on the landing space fouls over the course of her career than I am the moment with Alyssa Thomas. Like, not like that's where I currently am at, because this has continued to be a thing, and this is more policed in the NBA than it is in the W. But like, no one gets it to them as often as Caitlin does because of where she's shooting and the way defenders like sell out for that call. So that's the moment where she comes up holding her back. And then we have the moment with Alyssa Thomas where you again now see this, where Caitlin goes down to the court and Alyssa Thomas's fist essentially ends up right on her cheek / neck / shoulder, steps over her, and you don't see it in this angle, but there's a moment where her knee essentially goes into the groin area of Caitlin as well when the loose ball happens. Obviously, Alyssa Thomas has had different moments over the course of her career. We'll get to Stephanie White's comments, but Shawnee, I will lob it up to you for yours first.
And this is where it got hard to navigate all of the noise at the beginning of Caitlin's career, because like you said, she's never gotten landing space fouls. And everyone's going to look at that one and be like, oh, she flopped. Why did she throw herself on the ground? Because it's like, when you're landing like that, it's either put the pressure on my ankle and land on this girl's foot because she's in my landing space, or like try and brace myself and fall down. And now she got a bad back. So like, that should have been nipped in the bud years ago. And, it's escalated to where now it's falling on deaf ears. Because you've left her out on this island to constantly complain to the refs and be, the one to react to the officiating, because like, you not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that had happened to Asia, that didn't even happen. Jackie got the ball swiped from her last night, and Becky still pulled up in the ref's eyeball to eyeball.
Crazy, yeah.
And that was more so to fire her team up. But like, I've seen some fouls go on Asia where Becky's like, I will take this blazer hoodie off and beat the snot out of you if you allow this to happen again.
Yeah.
I have seen Cheryl Reeve come out of her blazer.
Yeah. Many times over the years, actually, like to protect various star players over the course of her career.
I don't know what girl dad. I don't really agree with his crash out, but like, I've still seen him crash out at least. You got to figure something out to protect your superstar, but that comes with treating her like a superstar. So if you were just like, oh, she's just a regular Joe Schmo and she needs to get in with the program, and I'm not going to do anything for her that I wouldn't do for anybody else. All right, these are the kind of things that happen, because now it's continuing. And this is a point where that's why, like, bruh, she ain't had injuries like this her entire collegiate career. Like, Lisa Bluter had that girl shooting, to quote Cheryl Swoops, 50 shots a game. And we still not getting wear and tear and injuries like this, because she is getting beat down like this. And it's not cool to see, because like, that changed the momentum of the game. She was cooking. Like, she was fine. The decision making was there. The shot selection was there. She was cooking. She's doing what you wanted to do. She was on her way to another 30-point double-double. and could have got you to win. Like, I guarantee she would not have pelted Raven Johnson in the back of her head if she was in on that last possession, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to do something. And then to the second part of that, like, Alyssa Thomas, bro, like, I forget what the play was a couple years ago, but there was this whole discussion of it's not fair to say Alyssa Thomas is a dirty player. Like, that's not fair. And it's like, why? Why? Like, we see this stuff all the time, bro. Like, you always in a situation where you doing something that you don't need to be doing. Why did you choke slam Angel? Why did you dive at Nafisa? You know, the foul on Nafisa. If you didn't have the reputation that you did, I wouldn't be even including this. But it's just like you always doing something that you don't need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And now we see, like, there is never, ever, 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 ever a reason for anyone's fist to be at someone's neck. That has nothing to do with anything. You know, the knee to the groin, that's sneaky dirty. So it is what it is. But, like, what is your fist doing? What are you doing? You don't press down on somebody's windpipe, bro. Like, what are you doing? And I feel like she's allowed to be like, oh, she's tough and she's gritty and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So as long as this stuff continues, and as long as, like, nobody in the Fever organization really press the issue and decide, like, hey, we about to make some change. Yeah, I need to get a handle on this. Or we're about to act up. We're going to keep seeing it. And as long as Steph continues to, like, and we're getting to her comments, but as long as Steph allows Caitlyn to be the only advocate for Caitlyn, like, this is where we are.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing with the Alyssa Thomas moment because it happens during live play. There is no review or anything that happens. We'll hear it in the quote, but Stephanie White didn't even realize it happened until they went in for halftime. And then she gets into the refs about it. And so it's a tough moment because it couldn't even be, I don't think the majority of people until, like, the replay, really, like where that goes on social media and, like, she's shown the clip. I don't know how many people realize this happened, you know, and from the refs to everyone. And that is, it's not, when you think about, like, quote unquote, like, just in general, flagrant twos, when you think about the stereotypical flagrant twos in basketball or what that looks like, it's normally like, oh, they're going up for a shot and someone gets hit in the face or something like that. It's not like in the mix of something in that way. And it got missed. And that's very unfortunate, frankly, that it couldn't be nipped right there and reviewed right there in the moment. And now
it still could have been nipped, because I tell you what, let Becky Hammond see that she'd have ran out with that iPad and grabbed somebody and put that iPad in someone's face and say, you better fix this.
Yeah, so it's again, it's a bit of a weird one when you think about these type of plays that would potentially be an ejection. It's not the stereotypical one where you think of that where it's no one's missing it. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different. And so that's an interesting kind of caveat to this situation in terms of the way it was handled in the moment during this game. Let's go over to Stephanie White. We have comments here. It's from Tony East, one of the top beat reporters with the Fever. So make sure you're following him on Twitter. But we got the full 2 minutes here. So she lets it off. So we'll let it rock here.
Steph, do you have any current update on Caitlyn's back or how she's doing right now?
No current update.
There was a clip of a play where she got pushed in the neck during the game. Have you seen that? Did that have any impact on her health in this one?
I just saw it. I'm not sure if it had any impact on her health or not. But it was egregious. The fact that it was a no call. I heard about it at halftime. I brought it to the attention of the officials at halftime. Yet we still had 11 fouls in the fourth quarter to their 2. They still shot 24 free throws in the second half. I just, number one, you got to call it. It's absolutely egregious and utterly disrespectful.
It's okay.
And then number 2, you're coming in here aware of what happened 2 nights ago, and that shit still happens.
Ooh.
Absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. and the reckless closeout that they actually reviewed, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded, absolutely disrespectful. We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say again, absolutely unacceptable.
Steph, do you think that the league needs to look into how Caitlin Clark is defended or how she's officiated going forward?
I mean, we spent all offseason looking at officiating. All offseason. And I still say the one thing that we keep asking for is consistency. She is not called the same way everybody else is called.
Shawnee, you're 2 minutes there, a lot to digest from Stephanie White. I feel like you got me in trouble, like in the classroom where it's like I like looked at you across the classroom when the teacher was scolding and you laughed and then I laughed. I didn't mean to laugh there. That was but
like,
that's a lot.
Teachers were like, I don't believe you, dog. Like, all right, bro. Like, that was Chicago off Broadway. I don't, we're not getting any Oscars or Emmys.
You're not moved? You're not moved?
I am moved to go to sleep.
Oh, Shawnee.
Like, none of that. I don't even know if she believes herself. Remember Buddy at West Virginia that was like, we're gonna shut down Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the most monotonous hype speech you've ever heard, to where it was like, does he believe what he's saying? She just thought if she kept saying egregious that it was just gonna eventually.
It was definitely the word of the answer.
Egregious, because it's like, one, you coached Alyssa Thomas. You know this is how she plays. You know, like, this is what the bread and butter was when you were with her. So it's like, you knew what it was. And then 2, I feel like this whole like generational superstar and she doesn't get officiated, it falls flat for me because I feel like this is the first time you're saying anything like this. Yeah. And this is the first time you're even acknowledging anything like this. So now it feels like you knew like CCFC was about to send them black trucks.
Yeah.
And you was like, all right, little Freddie in the cut with the chopper, let me make a statement here and smooth things over. And it's like, if you've been looking at it all off season, then you would have seen it, and you would have came in after your superstar missed an entire season due to injuries that she's never had. That would have been a point of contention every single night. I don't care. Like, Lynn Dunn, you better go get some boosters and get me a fund, because I'm going in on them every single night. Because if she was really about it, she would have flipped that table. I'm sorry, like,
flip the table, please.
There should have been some violence in that press conference, not against the reporters, of course. Protect the press.
Yeah, especially there.
But it's just like she was like, let me add a curse word.
Like, look, if this was Becky Hammond, we would have heard about does and deers and hippos and
there would have been violence in the
So here's to your point. I think that this is both. I think 2 things can be true. That this is both a step in the right direction in terms of the energy that the Indiana Fever head coach, whoever it is, should have about Caitlin Clark and the way that things have been happening, right?
Whoever it is.
Whoever it might be.
Sorry.
Like this is a step in the right direction. The problem is, to your point, having it just now happen. Like these, again, I understand why the Alyssa Thomas thing is going to run the conversation ethically or unethically, depending on who is having it, right? To me, it's the landing space fouls. That's the thing I've been stuck on for Caitlin since she's entered the league, where like this has been happening since day one. Like,
but
there's
she got handcuffed every time when she says, when she's getting hip checked and sheep shotted and says like that's not a basketball play, the whole world is clutching their pearls. Like, how dare she? Why are you whining? Why are you crying? Shut up! It's a big girl league, and then nobody's gonna take it easy on you. And it's like, yeah, but now everybody's like, they don't like this, bro. Like, they don't like this. And that's why it didn't happen, but I just wish people could have been normal, because everybody was on the same page about the officiating. It's just they didn't like her and didn't like her speaking up on it. So now, even still, like with the landing space, they're going to be like, well, if she wasn't flopping and throwing herself down, this wouldn't have happened. And then now you've let all of these hit pieces run about her body language and about her whining and about her being, just a petulant child on the court, that you have a legitimate gripe and it's about to fall on deaf ears because now everybody has fatigue on the subject. So
yeah, that's like, again, it feels like the strategy of, how would I word this? Almost like trying to normalize Caitlyn has now backfired, where like there might be different, whether it's players playing against or the way it's reffed or whatever, there might be a difference in the way it's going for Caitlyn. But you have been telling us that this is a team and this is like a we haven't heard generational player. I don't know if we've heard that from a Fever press conference, admittedly.
No, from anybody.
But like,
you've been using all of your challenges for Sophie Cunningham. So also, we don't believe anything you're saying right now.
Yeah, I'm twirling my finger on this one. Like I'm put the siren on, man. I think that two things can be true, that like ultimately this needs to be the energy going forward, but it probably should have arrived much earlier. And now I don't know how much impact this can have, because now it almost feels like the worst has happened almost. And it's like it should have never gotten to this point if you are coming from the Fever perspective and trying to protect Caitlyn and what that looks like. So again, two things true for me. I think what she said is good. I think what she said is the right thing to say right now. But ultimately, I worry about the actual, from a Fever perspective, what is the actual impact of that and how do things change? And what now is the health of Caitlyn Clark? Like, that is, again, we are back here in a new way, asking the same questions that we were asking earlier in the season about her back, where we had, again, all the confusion about the injury designation and all that. There's no confusion on this one. There's no confusion. So we'll see what happens from that point. Shawnee, is your heart and mind clear?
No, it's not, because everybody's pissed me off. And then going to her back, we said at the beginning of the season, like, that's not good. Like, she shouldn't be having no back problems. And everybody was like, no, everyone's making a big deal about it. Blah, 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 blah. Now she can't protect herself from a landing space foul without hurting her back. This is not great. We said it. None of this is great. And everybody, just congratulations, everyone. Now we're here. And the winner of all of this is Chrissy Sides. She is somewhere sipping a mojito, just having a blast, not having to deal with any of this. So congratulations to her. You are no longer under surveillance. You got away. Enjoy your retirement. I don't know what you call it, because...
Is she coaching for Canada right now, I think?
Is she?
I think she's an assistant coach for Canada, if I remember right.
Lord.
I think she's with
Letitia and me here.
She would know. I think she would know in Canada. No, okay, yeah.
We gotta get Letitia some dual citizenship, because I'm not dealing with that.
Is that all that's on your heart? Please continue if you have more. But
No, I think I'm just tired. Okay. Yeah, I love everything.
Yeah, there we go. Life is good.
Basketball is not going to matter in the afterlife. Remember that.
I hope everyone has not only a wonderful day, but stays ethical. That is my message. Stay ethical out there, everybody. And we will obviously be following this very closely to see what happens with Caitlyn, with the Fever, with obviously her health and how that impacts the rest of this Fever season. This is the place to be as we break down not only obviously the Indiana Fever, but the entire league as a whole. We're here Monday through Friday doing game recaps. We got segments coming your way. Under Surveillance is coming your way from Shawnee here later. We recorded that earlier today. It feels like a whole new world, but you know what? But there's still plenty to surveil and plenty to digest from that. That is still plenty truthful. So make sure you're tapped in for that as well, along with everything from us here at No Cap Space on the YouTube and also No Cap Space WBB.com. And last but not least, become a paid member. You get exclusive content, you get exclusive access to the Discord, and access to the NCS hotline to get off your hot takes, your questions, your reviews of the show. If you want to try and get that on Ball Up Top, there's so much to do with No Cap Space. So make sure you're tapped in with us across the board, and I'll talk to you soon.